What's up and welcome to My Point of View. I am your fat and opinionated host, and earlier today over on my main channel, Cinema Shogun, we talked about how this panel of experts, ex-FBI agents, forensics experts, lawyers, all types of people, they all gathered together and they discussed the Idaho 4 case. A lot of them seem to believe that Bryan Kohberger purposely left his knife sheath behind at the scene of the crime. Now, I have some strong feelings about that. And if you want to know how I feel about that, go check out the video on my main channel, or you can download the Swagit app. I'm not sure if you've heard of the Swagit app or not, but it's a new app. It's kind of like TikTok. Over there, I do exclusive videos as well. Also, this giveaway is supposed to be only for my main channel, but I love you guys as well. So if you download the Swagit app and you follow me, Cinema Shogun, you're automatically entered into a $100 giveaway. At the end of the week, we'll be giving away $100. So if you want to, you can click the link in the pinned comment, and over there I give you some of my thoughts about this whole knife sheath being left behind on purpose. But they also talked about something else that I found interesting. As I've told you all before, I don't get too invested in what these experts say, but all of them seem to believe that Bryan has most likely killed before. And that's a point that I've been trying to make for a while, but let's go ahead and hear what they have to say, and then I'll give you all my thoughts. So an ex-FBI agent said that he felt the murder suspect, Bryan Kohberger, may have killed before and in a similar fashion. I think he's killed before, most likely, he said. Not 4 people, but I think he's probably stalked and potentially killed females before. And another expert weighed in saying if he's the killer, this viciousness, the brutality, and the butchering of these 4 individuals, I cannot imagine that this is the first time if he is indeed guilty. Now, a forensics expert by the name of Joseph Scott added that while he thought it could be Kohberger's first murder, he believes it certainly was not the first time Kohberger tried to get away with something wrong. When asked if he thought it was Kohberger's first murder, he responded, "Murder? Possibly. Bad act? No." Now, in my opinion, it's almost hard for me to believe that someone would start out like this. You know what I mean? Like, the first time you do something like this, 4 people, it's almost overwhelming. And I know we always, or at least I do, I always revert back to Bryan's education. For some reason, knowing what we know about Bryan, it's hard to believe that he would have made that move. I feel like Bryan's the type of person that would have taken, I don't want to say necessarily baby steps here, but I think that at the very least, from knowing what we know about Bryan, I feel like at the very least he would have wanted to do something else before going after 4 targets. Now, mind you, maybe he didn't plan on taking all 4 people out when he went into that home. We don't know his true motive. But to start out with a crime that big, it's almost hard to believe. Like that one guy said, he believes that Kohberger probably stalked and killed other female victims. I don't know, at the very least, I bet he stalked them. I don't think that stuff like this is something that manifests itself inside of people once they're already grown. Like, I don't believe that a 28-year-old man who has lived a perfectly normal life, just one day is like, you know what? Now I want to stalk and unalive 4 college students. I feel like it's something that had to be lingering inside of him for longer than that. Therefore, of course, I believe that there had to be something before this. Now, that forensics expert that weighed in at the end saying that he believes that this may be Bryan's first murder, but there's probably something else Bryan tried to get away with. I think that's a possibility, but I don't see Bryan as the con man. I don't see Bryan as the guy that's trying to get away and get over on people and get away with other crimes. If anything, I think Bryan was obsessed with taking the life of another human being. So I don't think that Bryan necessarily tried to get away with other little petty crimes or things of that nature. If anything, I think that Bryan possibly has done something like this to someone before. Now, there's no evidence of that yet, of course. But like I said, it's hard for everyone to believe. And of course, I'm just some guy in my room talking to you all on video. But even the ex-FBI agents, even the ex-police officers, lawyers, forensics analysts, anyone you can think of, they all feel the same. That this is one hell of a way to start. You know what I mean? There's honestly no telling what else Bryan could possibly be tied to. And then you have to think about it. You can't just hone in on Idaho and where Bryan was going to school at, Washington State University. You can't just hone in on these areas because Bryan may have done something back home in Pennsylvania. So this is an interesting case because it's sometimes when you have a case like this, you know that the suspect has been centralized in one area, right? So you could look at other crimes or other unsolved crimes in that area and say, hey, you know, this fits the pattern. Maybe this was Bryan Kohberger. But when it comes to Bryan Kohberger's case, it's like anywhere from where he's going to school at all the way to Pennsylvania. So Bryan could be responsible for Lord knows what at any point. You know what I mean? So that's a lot of ground to cover. But I hope that investigators are looking into that. I think it's important, very important, that investigators don't stop their job by simply just looking into this case. I think they need to look at other cases around where Kohberger used to live, where Kohberger was currently living. I really hope they're exploring those avenues because I would not put it past this guy. I would not put it past him. I find it hard to believe, extremely hard to believe, that Bryan, especially with the education that he had, that he would have bit off more than he could chew, you know, on his first rodeo, if you will. But let me know what you all think down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.